That first hour you spend with a game is so crucial. More often than not, it's going to help sum up how you're going to feel for the rest of your playtime. So how does the first 60 minutes of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 stack up? Let's break down exactly what I did, answer some questions, and just unpack how it felt to jump back into one of gaming's all-time greatest franchises. What caught my eye first? Well, it wasn't quite what caught my eye first, but more what caught my ear first. And while I can't really show you what I'm talking about because, you know, copyright, the soundtrack immediately just brought back so many memories. I mean, the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater series as a whole really has formed a lot of my musical tastes as I've gotten older. And it's really cool to see that, yes, some of the existing tracks are still there, some absolute bangers, as well as somewhat of a refreshed playlist, just to kind of represent what modern skateboarding has also evolved into. So I think it's a really great spread of some of the old with some of the new, and all of the tracks just really fit well with the gameplay. How quickly did I jump into the action? Well, there is a tutorial that you can play through, and I did check it out. And although I am an experienced Pro Skater player, I've got countless hours playing the originals and all the way up to, you know, American Wasteland, etc. I did want to check out the tutorial just because I was kind of curious what they would do for newer players or people that maybe haven't played a Pro Skater game in a while. So I did check out the tutorial, the first bit, basically teaching you how to actually move. And it seems really in-depth as well. There were clearly loads of different lessons that you could do if you wanted to learn not just the basics, but slightly more advanced techniques, which is great that they're thinking of players who have maybe never touched a Pro Skater game before and want to get them up and running as quickly as possible. Are the controls easy to pick up? I think at a core, level, yes, they are. The best thing that I can recommend, though, to people is don't think of this as like other skateboarding games that you might have played that are more modern. Think of this more like a fighting game. It's kind of like you're inputting these sort of combos to attack, except you're stringing them together with a lot of precision, with some balance, with some dexterity. And that's really the simplest way, in my opinion, to think about the control scheme in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. X is for your flip tricks, Y is for your grinds, B is for your grab tricks, and then your sticks, or, well, depending on what camp you sit in, whether your sticks or shoulder buttons, that'll be for like doing body varials as well. All in all, really quite straightforward. It's just stringing them together when the pressure's really on, when you've got a big combo going and you just don't want to throw it away by bailing. But yeah, at its core, I'd say the controls are easy to pick up. Could you tweak the difficulty with no fuss? This was actually something that popped up immediately in the tutorial, and pretty cool that it was narrated by Tony Hawk, where he was explaining, yeah, there are a bunch of different assists that you can enable, and he kind of thinks of them as these training wheels just to get you quicker into the action and enjoying the gameplay without having to get too much of the frustration. So yeah, there are quite a few ways to tweak the difficulty, I suppose, by enabling things like infinite grinds, infinite lip tricks, infinite manuals, where you don't have to worry about the balance, as well as also you can even slow down the speed of the game. You can even triple the speed of the game if you're like really on it. And then there's also things like being able to change the length of the timer in the career mode. So 2 minutes is the standard length of time you'll have to attack all the goals, but you can actually extend that all the way up to a full hour, which is quite cool. Because if some of those are like more secrets that you're trying to discover on the map, occasionally you feel like you're a bit up against the clock to try and unlock them. And yeah, well, you could just go over and over and over again, repeating the 2-minute format. I think it's nice that you can just off the rip just say, you know what? I'm going to do it in 60 minutes, take my time, explore the map, and just enjoy myself, play it the way I want to. So yeah, you could do. I didn't touch any of those for my playthrough because I have played these games before. I kind of know what I'm doing. And I actually quite enjoy the sort of race against the clock to try and get goals done. So yes, it's there for you if you want it. Do the core mechanics feel satisfying? I think they feel just as satisfying as they did when I was a kid. I think that's why it's so good to see that they haven't really touched any of that. I mean, the Pro Skater 3 and 4 is more of a remaster, in my opinion, than a remake, purely because they've taken the absolute core DNA of what made Tony Hawk's games so fun, and that's just the freedom to skate however you'd like to. And so satisfaction's kind of at the key of that, because you're the one in control of everything that happens. You're the one that decides if you want to really just go all out and invest in vert tricks or just go for like flip tricks. Whatever it is that you find fun about skateboarding translates into the game. And honestly, when you nail your first 1,000,000 point combo, you're going to feel that rush right through you, and it's just such a good feeling. Can you tell there's more depth under the hood? It's a tricky one because I think from the way that the game's initial goals list is laid out, you can tell that there's going to be different things for you to unlock. And as you're sort of ticking goals off your list, you're going to realize that there's somewhat of, I suppose, an RPG progression. I don't want to go too far into that sort of comparison because it's not quite like that, but there are ways that you can improve the different pro skaters so that you can max out all their stats, make them even more capable of pulling off tricks or getting more air or just bettering their balance on grinds and manuals. And so there's that kind of depth where there's a lot of progression to this. But then once you also explore some of the menu and see that there are hundreds, and I do mean hundreds, of different challenges to do, not just in terms of the goals that you'd complete on a park to tick them off for the career, but also individual skateboarders will have their own challenges and different, like almost the thing that I can maybe compare it to the most is like mastery challenges in FPS games like Call of Duty, where, you know, you sort of have to get like, oh, X amount of headshots to unlock this skin or whatever. It's kind of like that. There's always this new goal for you to really try and attain. And I think that's part of the game loop that I really love, is just ticking things off this like what feels like never-ending list, but also getting rewarded with some really cool unlockables, cool cosmetics, and sometimes you might even find like secret parks or secret skaters. So there's always something to do in this game, whether it's elevating or just trying to beat your high score on a level, or whether it's even just diving deeper into the challenges and trying to get to those as well. In this first hour, I didn't unlock what they call the pro goals, which are like even more tricky versions of the existing goals on a level. And it also added in the combo goal, which is it's similar to the skate goal where you have to collect all the letters. But the combo goal, you have to collect all the letters in the same combo. So it really enhances that challenge. So yeah, there's tons of depth to this game and a lot of replayability, especially if you are a goal-oriented gamer. If that's your bag, you're gonna love this. How rough is it when you mess up? Is it punishing or kind of chill? It's punishing, definitely. I mean, everyone that's played these kind of games and has like bailed on a 1 million point, 5 million point, 10 million point combo will know that there is just that sinking feeling in your gut like, oh, I should have just banked that point, or why did I do it that way? I could have nailed that. So yeah, there's a bit of like punishment to that, but skateboarding's also just chill. It really embodies that free-flowing nature that I think skateboarding as an art form, as a sport, however you want to think of it, encapsulates. So yeah, it's also chill at the same time because no one gets better at this game by just getting it right first time. It is a game where you will take your time to hone your skills. You'll start to learn little tricks that make things easier for you. If you're really good at the game, you'll probably learn how to do shoulder varials instead, or shoulder button varials, because apparently that's the best way to spin. But I'm locked into using my left stick, which I probably shouldn't do. But you know what? You can't erase 20 years of conditioning. That's how long I've been playing this game and have it in the back of my mind. I'm not overwriting that anytime soon. So yeah, it's rough when you mess up, but also it's really easy to just restart a run. So if you do bail, if you're trying to go for like a specific challenge where it says you're not allowed to bail or you need to get a certain amount of points or whatever it is, it's so quick to just jump back into the action and reset the level that you're not really going to worry about it too much. And by now, you've probably seen enough gameplay to probably realize that the game looks great. I'm playing it on the Xbox Series X, and visually, I mean, this is the best that a Tony Hawk game has ever looked. 1 and 2 set the bar pretty high, but 3 and 4, I just think it's little things like the lighting in particular has just really taken this big step up, in my opinion. I think it just complements the world really well, adds a lot of life to it. And it's also not like 2 in the way that it's a distraction, because this is fast-paced gameplay most of the time. And so you're kind of forgiven for maybe not picking out all the detail in the world unless you sort of stand still and just soak it all in. Luckily, though, there is a photo mode, so you can kind of take advantage of that, set up some pretty nice snaps and take a screenshot of that and share it with your buddies, and it will look amazing. So it's nice to know that, yeah, there is this like huge level of visual polish that has gone into the game just to make it feel like it is a current gen a title to enjoy on modern hardware. But further to that, the sound effects also are just so on point. I think that there's not really much you need to change in that regard, I suppose. So you could say that they had a slightly easy job bringing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 up to speed, up to the current gen, because the base game, the like source material, was already so good that you didn't need to do much to it, right? You just bring it into the modern era, and it's a great game ready to go out of the box. But there are some really nice like polishes to it. They have the skateboarders have voiced different lines. Like I said, the tutorial is voiced fully by Tony Hawk as well.
This is a great place to start learning how to play. Let's go through the lessons and have some fun.
So it's great to see that they're also making sure that current modern day skateboarding culture is fully included in every aspect of this game, whether it's the sound design or whether it's the music or whether it's even the roster of skaters that you have available to you. I mean, there are some really cool names in there that they've added. I'd love to see Andy Anderson is in there as a secret skater, which is cool. So you can purchase him pretty early on. By the time I'd finished this first hour, I'd already racked up about $20,000, which was enough to buy all 3 of the secret skaters that were already available to me. So picked up Andy Anderson, picked up Bam Margera, and picked up Michelangelo, the Ninja Turtle. Pretty sick. But yeah, it looks great. The frame rate's super smooth. There's like no stutter whatsoever. It's just a really solid experience on Series X. I believe if you also are running it on 120 hertz monitor or TV, that you'll get access to an even like greater frame rate in a performance mode. So you can really lock it in. You'll see like everything you need to. The frame rate is going to give you the ability to take your combos to the next level, because you're going to see everything when you're running frame rates like that. So, summary, will I be sticking around past the first hour? This is a bit of a loaded question, if I'm being honest, because I've been so excited about playing this game ever since it was announced that it was happening. 1 and 2, I just ate that up. I loved it because I didn't really play Pro Skater 1 and 2 when I was younger. They came out when I was a bit too young to be playing games, I suppose. 3 and 4, though, was definitely my era of the Tony Hawk's franchise. 4 in particular was one that I spent a lot of time with, so I didn't get to play any of the levels from 4, so all of those parks are still there for me to try out. So absolutely, I'm going to be going past the first hour to check out the iconic maps like London and Zoo. And yeah, it's honestly, it's a given that I was going to play this past the first hour, given my love for the franchise. But having played this first hour, I'm even more excited to check it out. Plus, like I said earlier, there's so much to do progression-wise. There's so many goals that you're going to need to tackle. The gameplay loop in this is, I don't want to say endless, because there will be someone out there that will fully complete this game and they could say, yep, it's done. So, but what I can say is for someone like me who's pretty good at this game, but not like one of the world's best, there's hundreds of hours of gameplay in this. There's so many goals to tick off. There's so many pro skaters to do like solo tours with. I then need to dive into Create a Skater. And then there's also multiplayer, which I didn't actually get to. So there's full multiplayer. You can play different like free skate modes. You can do like head-to-heads. There's like contests. It looks sick, and it's something that I really want to try out, especially with the fact that it's fully cross-play for 3 and 4, which was something that I kind of missed from Pro Skater 1 and 2. So glad to see that kind of feature added to 3 and 4, because it just means there's going to be even more people to be able to connect with, to play against and with, and just dive into this franchise together and really just learn what it's all about and why Pro Skater is one of the most fun games I've ever played in my life, and a game that I will always return to. Even if it's just for like a quick 30-minute blast where I just want to tick off a couple goals, or if I'm like pouring in like a full 6-hour session where I'm really trying to like rack up the combos, like perfect my lines. That's what Pro Skater is all about. It's that game you can just dive into over and over again and absolutely love, no matter how you experience it too. Who should play this game? I think very obviously people that played the original games will definitely love to see it brought back into the like modern era with all those nice modern touches, the graphics, the new soundtrack as well. I know some people might be missing some of the songs that were either changed or didn't manage to get included in this version. But if you do listen to this soundtrack, you're going to love it. I think it's like the perfect backing for Pro Skater gameplay. None of the tracks are amiss, and I love to see bands like Turnstile getting added in. So, you know, it's someone who has played the franchise in the past. Yeah, you should dive back in. You're going to love it. But if you're someone new to the franchise, and I think there are going to be quite a lot of those types of players thanks to the fact that Pro Skater 3 and 4 is launching day one on Game Pass, then I think this is the kind of game that is for people that love sort of sandbox physics games. So if you've played games like, I don't know, maybe even like Human Fall Flat, or, you know, things that have like goals on a level and it's up to you to figure out how to tackle them. that's who this game is really for. And obviously skateboarding fans in general. It kind of ties those two genres together, which I think is like a fairly large group of people that would want to play this. It's a lot of fun, especially if you have Game Pass. There's kind of like no risk in just trying it out. All it's going to take you is the time it takes to download it and try it out. And you're going to love it. One word for my 60-minute takeaway. I think, it's tricky, but I think one word that would really sum up that first 60-minute sample I had of loads of the levels on Pro Skater 3 is just like nostalgia, which probably is really obvious to a lot of you and maybe sounds, too simple, but it's nostalgia purely because it's exactly how I remember Pro Skater 3 feeling when I was playing it when I was younger. I mean, everyone thinks of the games that they used to play when they were a kid with these rose-tinted glasses and everything looked amazing. And at the time, it did. It was amazing. But when you compare them nowadays, in retrospect, it's, there's absolutely no comparison. There's a huge gulf between the like visual quality of games today compared to games of old. And so it's really cool to see this game basically mimic exactly how I feel about Pro Skater 3. And so it's just brought all of that nostalgia flooding back and that joy and that excitement. So one word, it's nostalgia. What's got you excited for what's next? Well, it's just purely the fact that now I get to go and try the Pro Skater 4 levels. So I'm going to be tearing it up on Zoo. I'm going to be tearing it up on London. I need to go and unlock Constable Richard, who is Jack Black in disguise. So, there's tons of secret skaters to unlock, secret levels to unlock probably. I need to find out how to get Pinball, which looks like a very fun level. I've unlocked Michelangelo now. I've unlocked Bam Margera. I've unlocked Andy Anderson. So I'm going to be going through all of those secret skaters. Plus, because I pre-ordered the Digital Deluxe Edition, I also get to play as the Doomslayer and the Revenant. So I need to go and try out those skaters because for this full hour, I only played as Tony purely because I was really tearing into the goals. Like I knew what my combos were going to be. I was locking it in. I was leveling them up, getting all the stats up throughout. And I was just chewing up these park goals and really just racking in the dollars there so I could go and buy those extra secret skaters. So again, everything's got me excited for what's next because I've still got so much to tear into. This is a game that can easily clock like 300, 400, 500 hours of playtime if you really want to dive into everything that's possible in it. And I think in terms of a specific game mode, I think online is probably the mode that I'm most keen to try out because I didn't really go too in-depth in online modes in 1 and 2, outside of like maybe downloading a couple of creator parks here and there. So it's gonna be great to explore so much more Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. And all that's really left to say is I had a blast playing. It was a great hour. I can't wait to go and probably play more right after finishing this video. So thanks so much for watching this, guys. If you enjoyed it, leave it a like. Make sure you hit subscribe because we'll be covering loads of other games coming to Xbox over the course of the rest of 2025. And keep on skating. You can drop your gamer tags in the comments if you want to link up and we can play some online, of course. Or if you've got a cool creator park that you want to share, you can actually share the links to those now with like a little code, which is great. So drop those in the comments if you've got any cool creator parks you want us to check out. And we'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.